Hello. Okay, good. It's recording. So here. Okay. So much has happened. Oh my God. And actually, we're closing the magazine this week at work, so there's 2 weeks of being really busy and being at late, work super, super late and 12-hour days and 13-hour days. So I feel like this huge blur of activity has happened, and at the same time, I'm not recording any of it. I went to the store and got, weight loss surgery for dummies and was reading that, and it was talking a little bit about how important it is to have something to look back on so that when I feel really different and when I look really different, I'll remember why I got the surgery. Or when I'm in a bad moment and feeling like, progress isn't being made, I'll remember what I looked like, that kind of thing. And I fully intend to start a food journal today. But I do have to say, I can't really think that I'm going to write pen and paper. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's something that I would start doing maybe and wouldn't do. And one of the biggest things that I've been looking at when I've been figuring out if I want to do it and when I'm going to do it is watching YouTube videos. Massage Goddess and Diva Tanya are probably the two that I like the most. And just seeing them week by week talk about really, micro level, this week I dealt with this, has been so helpful. And seeing them kind of slowly melting away in terms of their weight has been really helpful. So that said, what has happened this week? I made a little list so I wouldn't forget anything. The biggest thing, sorry, my computer's dazzling out. The biggest thing is that I have a surgery date. It's tentative, November 4th. Today is October 19th, so it's really soon. And basically, I went and did the endoscopy, which I think I talked about before, which is when I realized, oh my God, this is a real thing. This is a hospital procedure. This is me on a hospital bed with an oxygen tube at my nose, with an IV in my arm, with blood pressure monitors and heart rate monitors and sedated and holy shit. But it went well and nothing was wrong. And then I went and got blood work done and I went and talked to a nutritionist. And the biggest thing that she recommended is that I start doing things now so that when I come up from the surgery and I'm miserable, I'm not also trying to figure out, well, what vitamins should I be taking and blah, blah, blah. So I started today taking calcium. These are disgusting. I actually also put out an order last night after I tried this. I went to GNC and got this, and it was totally disgusting. So I put in an order at Bariatric Advantage, which some of the people on different websites have really liked. And then I'm also starting just Centrum chewable orange flavor. These aren't bad. I'm going to keep taking these. But hopefully the other ones will come and I can just use these as a backup. They're also just so big. Let me just show you. If I can get it out. They're huge. And I know some people have to take like 6 of them a day. I'm taking 2 of them a day and 2 of the multivitamins a day. So the biggest thing she said, which she was fine, she, recommended that I start taking the vitamins now, so I'm really in the habit with them. And I also got this at Target. Look how cute it is. Becky and I went to the Bronx, and each of these, went to the Bronx to go to Target because there isn't one in Manhattan. And you can take out, so this is, Monday, so I can just put this in my bag. And it's, right now I'm on, thyroid medication in the morning, metformin for insulin resistance, morning and evening, and then calcium and multivitamin morning and evening. So anyway, I went and talked to her, and she said a few things. She said, if I would not be opposed to starting eating meat again, it would make it much easier post-op to get in all my protein and not feel like all I'm eating is soy and tofu and cheese. And I think she's right, and I am not a vegetarian. I am a vegetarian because I am not so in love with the way that animals are raised and slaughtered, but realistically the big reason that I'm vegetarian is because I just think meat is kind of gross. And I think if I can work hard and maybe start now and over the next 2 weeks, because 2 weeks is my surgery, that's crazy. I can find some fish that I don't mind. I don't mind salmon. I used to really love sushi. So hopefully I can kind of go more towards seafood I like ground beef, So I started eating chicken the last few days, although I know that's a bit fibrous and not really moist, so that probably isn't what I'm going to be eating post-op, at least for the first few months. And tonight, Becky and I are going to have some fish, so hopefully that'll be delicious. But so anyway, I went and talked to her, and then I called back and was like, I think all my paperwork's in. Is it all in? What should I be doing? They're like, call back in a few days. So I called back on Thursday. Today's Sunday, and they were like, we think we can do it. Why don't you call back? And I called back on Friday, and the woman who I talked to was like, well, do you have a date in mind? We'll put down your surgery date, then we'll submit all the paperwork to insurance, and if they approve it, that'll be your date. And I was like, well, for me, as soon as possible, because why not? Like, if I feel like I want to do it, and I've spent 2 weeks doing labs and tests and whatever, and then I thought they had to set the date for a month out, she said, well, how about November 4th, 2.5 weeks later? And that's basically, I think, honestly, the earliest they could do it, because I have to go in next Friday. Well, I have to go in and see Dr. Pomp again. I have to go in. I signed up to be part of this research study, so I have to go in and get, more of my blood drawn, do a cardiovascular test, and they're just it's just to research a year out, 2 years out, how people are who have had the surgery. So I'm not so in love with getting more blood drawn and doing more tests, but I feel like it's one of the things that made me decide to do it is the fact that there's some research now about how safe it is. Then obviously I need to be part of that system of creating that research for people who want the surgery 5 years from now and 10 years from now. And so I'm happy to be tracked for it, even though it's sort of a pain. So anyway, November 4th is sort of the earliest they could do it, because I'm going to have to go back in to see Dr. Pomp. I have to go in for pre-op testing, surgery testing, which is an EKG and a chest X-ray. So they have to get all those results back. And it does, hopefully, she said next week, fingers crossed, they will have the approval for my insurance. So I don't know. I am so stunned. Then after I got off the phone on Friday, I was like, November 4th is really soon. And I'm excited about that. And it works out for me perfectly time-wise with work. We have one big close, and then, there's a week, and I'm going to have my surgery. And I talked to them at work, and my editor was so wonderful. I didn't tell her what kind of surgery I was having, because I just don't want to. In part because I feel like people then will be watching me more, and it's such a gossipy industry, and I feel like it's really personal, and I don't want people to know. But I did tell her, obviously, I was having surgery, and she said I could definitely take off the week I'm in the hospital and the week after, and she said if I need another week, that's fine. They're going to hire a freelancer to come in for that week that I'm back. So if I can't come in, I don't have to, or if I need to come in for half days, that's fine. And it really just works out perfectly time-wise. So even though it feels like it's 1 month between my initial consultation and being on the surgeon's table, and that I think is probably the shortest turnaround ever in terms of, it takes 3 months, or unless your insurance is stricter, and then it takes 6 months. I'm doing it all in 1 month. But how cool is that? As quick as that feels, is it quick when I've been overweight for 26 years? I mean, Sarah, my ex-girlfriend, had the surgery, 8 years ago at this point. Then I was so jealous. You know what I mean? Then I was like, she was telling me diets will never work, and I was just like, I will never have the insurance to pay for this. Don't think of it as an option. But that's when I started thinking about it. That's when I started researching about it. Never thinking I could be lucky enough to get it, but now that it's been presented that I could get it insurance-wise, a month seems quick, but I've had all this build up. Do you know what I mean? Okay, well, I have other things to talk about, but I'm nearing the 10 minutes. I can't believe it. So I'm going to pause, and I'll come right back. Okay, bye.